Welcome to Unscripted Gaming. My name is Josh, joined as ever by my effervescent and dancing colleagues, Ray and Mike. Gentlemen, how are we doing today?
I'm doing great.
October 2nd, 2020. Don't you dare ask me that question and get a straight answer from me.
The date is October 2nd, 2020.
A day which will live in infamy.
Yes.
I'm having a great day.
It's an interesting day in the United States of America.
Hey, Mike.
Sure is.
I didn't expect to come across this W with my wine tonight, but here we are.
But here we are. W stands for Walter Reed Medical Center.
You know what? Josh's wife Megan said, "You know what? You guys aren't going to be able to make it through a whole podcast," and she's right. I said I would act good. I said I would.
Well, no. See, it ties in. It's gonna tie in. I got the segue ready. So.
Tizen? You mean the Korean operating system from Samsung? Is that
No,
what
I'm
we're
pretty
talking
sure
about?
I'm pretty sure that's in the, in case of president dying cocktail that he was given today. Folks, I'm on margarita number 3. We're having a great time here.
I've actually been rewatching The West Wing, and it's very novel about thinking about a time where the president was competent and respect-worthy and cool, but at one point,
that was just 4 years ago.
because in every
Point of
show
order:
had,
The West Wing is a TV show. It's not a real thing. It's a show.
yeah, but you can at least
Point
watch
of order.
that show and imagine that that kind of stuff from time to time would actually happen in the actual White House, whereas you're watching it and thinking about the White House now, and you're like, this would never and could never happen in our current administration. But that's not the point. As is tradition in any TV show that involves the president, President Bartlett gets shot, as you do, and he was under anesthesia for a while to get surgery, and they're like, it was a big scandal of who was the president during the 3.5 hours Bartlett was under anesthesia? Who was in charge? And it's just oh man,
It's that seems like a really dumb scandal because there's a very clear delineated process for these things.
Yeah, but if they didn't actually sign the paper and invoke the 25th Amendment and the president didn't sign the paper, what happened? Oh my goodness, somebody else could have been president.
No, everyone knows that if the president is incapacitated, the CIA just takes over in an official capacity instead of an unofficial capacity. Duh. Read a book.
And like that, we've turned into unscripted politics. It finally happened.
It's a real secret, folks. Wait, it was always unscripted politics?
Always has
been.
Always has been. Oh my gosh.
And folks, I think it's time for to hit that segue button. Whoop. So I was today started off really great because it was it was 1 a.m. and just about to go to bed when all hell broke loose, and I've just been mainlining posts all day. And you think I'm sitting in my chair, but I'm actually oscillating at thousands of miles an hour very quickly due to just raw overstimulation. And I bet you're wondering, now, Mike, you usually go to bed on time. I do. I'm pretty okay with that. Why were you up at 1 a.m.? And the answer to that question of why I was up at 1 a.m. so I could laugh about the president getting COVID, it's because I was playing a game that I just literally cannot stop playing because I like it so much. And that game is Hades. It is the latest game from Supergiant. Was in early access, just came out full 1.0 release. And it is all of us actually have been playing a little bit of it. I have played quite a bit. I have gotten credits, just as an indication of where I am. So got credits a couple days.
Oh, okay. You got the people that made it credits. Okay.
Yeah, so I've gotten true credits. And I I really like this game.
I love pretty much every game Supergiant has ever released. I haven't played Pyre, so I've only played Bastion and Transition, but they're great. Uh, I downloaded Hades the moment I got the chance. It's great. Love it. It's probably the best. Yeah, I would say it's definitely the best roguelike I think I've ever played.
I think I would definitely agree with you. I think it just I've it's early, but I've spent quite a significant amount of time with it already. Again, hence staying up till 1 a.m. Um, I think a
It keeps
couple
getting
of
better.
yeah,
Sorry, go
I
ahead.
think a couple of the things that have really set it apart so far. Um, I mean, so just to kind of give a quick summary for those not familiar, it is it's a roguelike. It's kind of like a top down. It's almost like a Diablo. It's not. It's like Diablo, but like more of an action game than like that's kind of like I guess the. I'm trying to think of another better comparison, but it kind of looks like Diablo, like that kind of tilted angle, but it's a lot quicker in terms of like the combat than I think Diablo is. Um, and
Say that.
I think a couple of things like that. I guess the one thing that really got me to stick with it pretty early on was, um, I mean, you guys know I'm a sucker for a game that has like world and story. And one thing I really like about this game is that it has all this like rich Greek mythology kind of text to it. The game is obviously called Hades. You play as the son of Hades, Zagreus, trying to escape the underworld, and it's so they have all the kind of like the underlying mythology, but Supergiant also has lots of really they have these really established characters and are true to like their classical like identity, but they do really great twists with all of these characters in terms of the actual like plot of the game. That so it has like the game has a narrative drive that I've really enjoyed, and like I like playing Dead Cells, but Dead Cells doesn't really have that kind of narrative in any. At least I mean, there's like a lore in Dead Cells, but it doesn't have the same like run to run narrative that Hades has. That just makes it's a really good carrot. Like it always feels like
It
something is
it seems like a
happening.
really good mashup of Bastion's really good storytelling throughout, and then Dead Cells run to run gameplay in the like, hey, we can actually combine both of these and
Hmm.
actually tell a very interesting story through this mechanic of roguelike gameplay.
Yeah, like it's really cool that they've been able to add so much kind of linear progression to a game where to a type of game that doesn't always have that. Like it really makes the parts um where you might be plateauing on like a certain boss for a while. It really makes those parts like a lot more tolerable because there's always like new dialogue, a new like little story beats to
Yeah,
uncover.
there were some times where I was almost convinced because of the dialogue that kept happening that like, oh, maybe I'm not actually supposed to advance yet. Maybe I need to experience failure
Hmm.
a few more times and be like, oh, all of a sudden, hey, this story beat happened and then X happened, and okay, now I can actually progress. So like, I I can see how that can also sound like a bad thing, but like the fact that the death doesn't always feel like God, I'm terrible, and
Yeah,
I'm just banging my head against the wall. It can still feel fresh after
yeah.
multiple tries.
It it's I think I've seen Supergiant try to say that they want to like remove it's like it's a really clever it's like it is technically like a game over when your run ends, but then it just means you immediately transition into new character stuff, new story stuff, and as you kind of learn more of like how to build up relationships with those characters, you kind of like start to unlock like little subquest storyline things. So it just kind of like it's a really good kind of like rhythm that they have going on. I think another thing is just that I've super enjoyed is just that this game is gorgeous. Like because it's like it's all this like 2D like I don't know how to just how to describe this art style, but it's like just all these like really immaculate like 2D drawings.
It almost looks like, you know, very vibrantly, vividly like computer hand painted, you know, the way that the colors contrast.
It's HD hand drawn art. Well, you know, they did it on a digital board, but then they just transposed the assets and then they hand drew every animation. But there's not a ton of animations per like every single thing. Like some enemies don't really have that much of an animation. They're just bobbing up and down. Whereas like the main character, even that main character doesn't have a ton of animations besides his run cycles. Like the sword swing is just like 3 frames. It's and that's it.
Yeah. Well, it's like so they kind of use that limited stuff to like I think it's stylized really well. Like like all the colors are super vibrant.
I love that I have it on the Switch because it's a very good Switch game, but there's a part of me that wishes I had it on Steam or something just so I could be playing it on my nice, you know, 1440p 32-inch mod. Like it would look so pretty on.
Yeah.
Josh, here's what you do. You take your Switch dock, you put it next to your computer, and you just hook it up to your monitor with an HDMI cable.
It's true, but the Switch only outputs 1080p, so
what do you care?
It's not as pretty as it could be.
Oh my god. You bought a $300 console. You know what you got.
Hey, I'm just saying. It's a trade-off. I'm just saying there's a part of me that wishes I had it on the computer so I could have it as beautiful as possible.
Yeah.
Josh's tech minute has become Josh's my games look better than yours minute.
I mean, right, my RAM is RGB, obviously.
Did you really buy RGB RAM?
What do you think that is, dude?
Why did you do that? It doesn't do anything.
We stand an RGB king, folks.
I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure that's good for at least an extra 6 FPS.
I'm pretty sure it's not.
Can make or break.
You know, every time it cycles around to like the violet end of the spectrum, it pushes the memory faster because it's the light waves are you know oscillating at a higher frequency. So
yep, that's exactly
right.
That's
how you get a higher clock speed from that. But
no.
I think all like the character designs are like even just like the 2D like you know comic art style of the still portraits of the characters are like really good. I think it's really smart of them to have a really to have the cast of gods like be really diverse. Like just because they're the Greek pantheon of gods doesn't mean they're all Greek. Which I thought was just it just shows that it's really thoughtful. And I honestly really appreciate that.
Like I feel like I have learned more about the Greek gods and at least the slate of deities and their backstory and their relationships to each other through this game than I have a lot of other media that hammers and talks about the gods a lot. Like it's been actually fairly informative too about just this old mythology around these characters and these deities.
It's definitely not God of War, if that's what you're alluding to.
Yeah. It's just like a really refreshing kind of take on them. Like there's like there's a lot of things I want to say, but I as someone who's a lot later in this game that I will refrain from. There's just a lot of great dialogue moments that shows that I think they really kind of understand these characters. Like how every time you like lose a run, You go talk to Hypnos, and Hypnos is like really annoying. It's like, oh wow, you got killed by this thing. Oh, you shouldn't try. You do that next time. Like it's really annoying, but it's really funny and it's kind of endearing. Uh, um, Hades is just like so overbearing and rude, but like
the first time I talked to Meg after having beat her and then dying later, I thought was hilarious. She's like,
pissed.
"Fuck you."
Also,
yeah, there's.
I made a mistake. I gave Hades one of the nectar thingies. I'm like, maybe he'll give me something. And just to spoil it for you guys so you don't make the same mistake I did, he just yells at you and says, how dare you try to butter me up? First of all, give me that. Second of all, get out of my sight. And you get nothing.
Owned. That's so good.
That's the most Hades thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what I was expecting. Honestly, the game has gone out of my way to say he's a dick.
Like
why
it's
did I give him a present?
like again, I won't like spoil a lot of like the story, but like I think between like the story and a lot of the like kind of side characters and writing, I wasn't expecting one of my favorite like stories, like one of my favorite stories in a game this year to be like in an action roguelike game, but I think so far, like I haven't played a ton of new games, honestly, but this is like a really great like story. So if that's something that you would be, you would be, I guess
Plus,
what am I saying?
I mean, it's also $25. Like it is a
Yeah.
very reasonably priced game for what you're getting. It has an amazingly and unexpectedly deep story for a roguelike and a $25 game. The art style is phenomenal. The controls are very tight. I feel like I'm pretty in control of everything that's happening, and it's just just an all around phenomenal game. It is something that wasn't on my radar. Like I know it's been around for a little while in early access, but I wasn't, I didn't really hear much about it or pay much attention to it until it came out and you started playing it. And then I was like, oh well, I guess I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, and I think like one last thing I want to say about like the gameplay itself, I appreciate the things that this game does to kind of get you outside of your comfort zone with different loadouts and builds.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, like if I'm doing like a roguelike, I already kind of know like what I steer pretty hard to like what I want. And as you get like deeper into the game, you get more tools to kind of to try and help, make sure that the right boons kind of show up. But I've had some like, you kind of go into a run, you don't really know what those early boons are going to be, but eventually you get really good at kind of putting together on the fly like a super great build, and it's always like a really fun surprise. Like if I pick up a weapon, I'm like, I don't know exactly what the build I'm going to try to do, what this is going to look like, and then by the end of the run, I have something entirely different than what I was going for, but it is just like it either just deletes bosses or like is a super like ad clearing machine. They do a lot of nice things with like the weapons, where there's some different versions of them that have different traits or moves that really help keep it fresh. And yeah, so I think it feels like this game does a lot to keep me out of like my build rut in a roguelike kind of game.
Keep, I know the thing I want. I know how I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna keep, running until I start getting, until Aphrodite pops up and I'm like, okay, now I know where I'm going and let's do this.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I feel like they just, because sometimes you only have like one, like so little choices, because you can't just choose from everything all the time, that kind of limiting of your choice between door 1 or door 2 a lot of times kind of forces you to be able to get to learn to work with other things, and then you realize, oh wait, this is actually super OP. If I get this thing that ticks all this damage all the time, and then get this ability from this other god that lets all of my damage have a chance to crit, but if I'm like ticking damage all the time, it's going to be critting all the time.
Yeah. I have to be better about remembering that I have a very bad memory. So some of the symbols I'm like, who is this represent again? God, I think I like this one. Let's go through it. And like, shit, no, this isn't what I thought it was. But other than that, I have no clue.
I actually didn't know there was a health upgrade symbol until like I did like 4 different runs, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's a heart? Because it doesn't look like a heart.
It's a weird looking symbol. That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I finally like got it, I was like, oh shit, I've been ignoring these the whole time.
I always go for that though.
Yeah, that's an absolute. Like,
yeah, I always try to get to like at least 200.
Yeah.
I haven't hit 200 yet, and that's probably my problem. Well, it doesn't always give me the option, to be fair.
I mean, like 200 by the time you get to Hades. So
yeah,
the actual. So I got to the very last like area, Elysium, and Mike was bearing the lead for me. What the boss you encounter in Elysium? For fans of the podcast, let's just say it might look a lot like my most hated Dark Souls boss.
One could also say it looks like the best Dark Souls boss.
Nope, no one would say that.
No, yeah, but I would, and I'm correct.
I actually don't know what the best Dark Souls boss is. The Knight Artorias.
None, because it's a bad game.
Knight Artorias is the best Dark Souls boss.
Artorias is pretty good.
All right, what else have we been playing? Because we are not starting down a goddamn Dark Souls conversation yet again. What else have we been playing?
But we could.
So I've been still playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2, and that game is still a lot of fun. I have nothing else to say.
Go ahead.
Just been playing
I'm downloading as we speak Star Wars Squadrons.
Oh.
And I got my HOTAS stick right here. So I'm not going to lie. Once we're done podcasting, I'm going to just play that for the next 5 hours or something.
Ray, I'm going to need a report because I've got a $10 coupon sitting in my my Epic account. So, you know, that make it only $30. So I need a full report ASAP as possible.
Okay, do you like flight sims?
No.
We know I do.
Then just buy it. One,
okay.
It's $40. 2, it's gotten nothing but rave reviews so far. And 3, there are no microtransactions. It's like EA's just doing you a solid, and it's like, yeah, all right, okay.
Like, throw me a bone, please. Like, please don't review bomb this game, please. We're so tired. Please don't.
I'm actually very curious if like the House of Mouse said like, yeah, you don't get the microtransactions any of our Star Wars mainline games for like a couple of years. You guys really, really screwed the pooch on this one. Don't even think about it. No loot boxes. You're done. You're done. Cause whoo. But yeah, once it gets done downloading, it looks great. The cockpit detail. Josh, there is a mode where you turn off all the UI and you just rely on the cockpit instruments.
Ooh,
and the cockpit detail gives you all the information you need. There are different buttons to manage your shields, your speed, and your weapon energy, all at different intervals, and you can just be like, I need a high burst of speed, and you can get that.
I almost bought, like, pre-pandemic, I almost bought a flight stick for Ace Combat 7, and I didn't. And I really regret it, because now they're so impossible to find with Flight Sim and COVID. You can't do it. But God, I wish I had a flight stick right now.
That's actually why I bought mine as early as I did, because, well, Microsoft Flight Simulator has pretty much drained the market of flight sticks, as it should, because that game is wonderful. You could turn off, again, all like UI and Microsoft Flight Simulator, and obviously just rely on the instrument panels, but here's the detail of Microsoft Flight Simulator. You can, if you're flying at night, just use the stars in the sky to navigate to where you need to go, and it will work. They modeled the sky as close to the Milky Way galaxy sky of where you're flying over as much as possible. And that's like, I appreciate that level of detail.
We started singing that song from Moana.
Oh, also, there was that great meme of like a new form of cyberbullying is to boot up Microsoft Flight Simulator and crash to the house person you hate.
I think no, that's actually the game of the year because you can find the Grover House in Microsoft Flight Sim.
I really want to fly to that that like airport that kind of popped up in this giant cavern that like accidentally fell into the world. Like there's some glitch somewhere where there's this airport that is in this giant chasm in just like a middle of a plane, and it looks hilarious.
It's in Brazil, if you're really curious. Yeah, and I saw the chasm. It is not in the game. I saw pictures of it. It is scary looking.
That's
looks
hilarious.
like non-Euclidean, like something from Lovecraft.
You fly down to land at this airport. It looks amazing.
That's amazing.
What else have we been playing, gentlemen? Or is it pretty much been
Mike has
Hades
been
all the
playing
time?
again, I've just been playing a lot of Hades. It's so good, guys. The character art is so good. You gotta play it.
Yeah, it's been mostly
worth
Hades
the
for me as well.
$25 just to see chaos alone, honestly. Anyways.
I do have one other game I had played previously. I got, because I love the soundtrack to it, I got Armored Core 5. And I got halfway through that game, and a lot of people were telling me, a lot of my other fellow Armored Core friends, like, don't play this game. It was meant for online only. It's really bad. Like, bullshit. It has a single player mode. It can't be that bad. You get to some enemies with health bars so massive they're reminiscent of Monster Hunter, and they are meant to be taken down with multiple people, and they forgot to tune the game for if you want to play with a single person. Like a single player. And it sucks. You can beat it, you barely, but it sucks. And I got this is one of the very few games where I got halfway through it, and in disgust, I walked up, I hit the eject button on the old Xbox 360, boxed it up, threw it on the shelf, and I actually packed away the Xbox 360. Said, "We're done here."
Ouch.
It was a game so bad it got the console it was in punished.
You're like, well, I'm never booting this again.
I love the Armored Core series, but damn, that hurt really bad when you come across one of the worst games in the series accidentally. I was warned.
I say you were
multiple
warned.
people.
You were warned, sir.
I was warned by many people. I just ignored it. And my hubris! Hubris! Speaking of hubris. No, wait, we're not going to do that. We're not doing it. Nope. I'm going to just sit my wine. We should talk about gaming news. Is what
Anyway, well, we could talk about the hubris of Microsoft.
Is that hubris, though, what they did?
Or just swanging.
I think it's swanging.
I mean, it's, annoying Mike disclaimer of corporate consolidation will be the end of us all and destroy everything we know and love.
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft swanging.
When you could throw down $7.5 billion. Yeah. Oh, wait. Yes. Josh or Mike, tell us what they did.
So they bought ZeniMax. And its subsidiaries.
It's a massive acquisition. Yeah, I don't know that there's much to say, just because we're now a little while out and a lot else has happened news-wise since then. But that's a lot of studios and a lot of IP that is now under the Microsoft banner. A lot of games that are going to be coming to Game Pass, day and date with their releases. They have said that console deals that are already on place with Sony will be honored. Things after that will be on a case-by-case basis. I think it makes sense for them to just continue to put things out on PS5, in perpetuity, because it's the conversation of, hey, over there, you can spend $60 and, buy the one game, and that's cool and all, but like, hey, Hey, come over here.
$70.
If you pay me $15 a month, you can have this and everything else. Just come over here. It's okay.
Yeah, and that's kind of what it seems.
Hey, let me give you Game Pass. Let me give you your first hit for like $1, just like $1. Just like try Game Pass.
Oh, okay.
Just try it. Just try it.
Oh,
it's
I
okay.
already took advantage of my $1 Game Pass offer.
This Game Pass is pretty good. Oh,
I use it on the Outer Worlds. I don't regret.
Yeah, I mean, I love my Game Pass. When they said it's like going up to $10, I was like, okay, cool, whatever. I mean, fine. Even if I don't play a ton on it, I play enough that I'm still like the amount of games that I have played, I have still saved money. Technically,
oh yeah.
I mean, I haven't actually, because some of those games aren't games I would have bought, but you know, whatever.
That's how they get you, sir.
Yep. Hey, I'm not going to Ultimate though, so I'm going to stick with the $10 tier, and it'll be okay.
But when that new Halo comes out, there you go. You're going to be like,
well,
I guess
it'll be on the PC tier as is, and I think EA Play is still coming to the computer tier, so I'll be fine.
Okay, all right.
It won't be the full the premium version, but that's only like a handful of titles that they keep out of the premium version. So like everything filters into the basic eventually, so it'll be fine.
I don't mind this deal that they struck. I mean, obviously, Mike is right. Like constant consolidation. In the overall grand scheme of things, not great. Like I really am uncomfortable with the fact that Disney owns the Alien license. I don't like that, and I'm never gonna like that. Speaking of consolidation, but Microsoft owning both the Fallout franchise and the Doom franchise and the Wolfenstein franchise, it's like, man, that's
crazy.
That's a lot. That's a little much for me. Like, yeah, Microsoft owns the Elder Scrolls franchise. Okay, yeah, sure, that was a great get. Good for you guys. But I really, really, really like Doom and everything it represents. That feels weird to me.
Yeah, it is. I mean, just the scale of it is kind of just still hard to like just.
Well, you have
handle.
to wonder at how long is it going to take Microsoft to really, capitalize this investment and get a return on it.
Yeah,
because
I think like
you would imagine that Microsoft is now going to be involved in funding these studios in some capacity. You hope that through this partnership and acquisition that only increases the resources available to these studios to make better games or realize visions for bigger things that they even being as big as Bethesda and id and ZeniMax were, that they couldn't do because they weren't the scale of
because they
Microsoft.
Didn't have to worry about like pushing like units.
Yeah.
Sorry, your thoughts on that? Oh, go ahead.
Like I think Josh, like what you were saying is like, I think there's kind of like two phases here. So like phase one is going to be basically getting every game that is, that doesn't already have like a pre-planned like Deathloop is, I think it's going to be like a PlayStation exclusive for a minute, from Arcane. Basically it's going to be getting all of those games like that don't already have some preset deal, day and date on Game Pass, because again, like you said, you can either get it for what's very like it seems like it is. All signs are pointing to games being standard $70 next gen. There are enough people setting prices around there for not like a deluxe edition that it seems like that's just good. That's it. The conversation's over. That's it. So it's either, you can get this game for $70 on the PS5, or you can preload it and play it day one on Game Pass, like just as part of like your standard membership, which is that like, even if they're not just like really playing hardball, which is an option, because they own this stuff now. That's certainly something that they could do, but it's it's if their goal is to get people into the Game Pass service, which it very much seems to be the mission.
Yeah.
That is a huge. I mean, $70 there, or like $15 for the thing you want plus the entire backlog of stuff.
Yeah.
Is, I mean,
It's
just
for a
like
lot of
anybody
people,
can
it's
do
easy
that math right there. That's a pretty good,
I mean,
compelling.
and it sounds like, I want to say just since like March or April, Game Pass has already doubled its subscriber base, which is
Jesus.
absolutely mind blowing.
That's nuts.
So it's.
Well, talk numbers here, because going from 10 to 20 is doubling your base.
I want to say it was like.
They went from 5 to 9.5.
I want to say it was like 4 to 8 million or something like that subscribers.
All right. Wait, are they counting? Well, okay, I understand. You're not going to get into the weeds because you might not know it, but
Yeah,
I'd be careful with marketing terms.
That is just off the top of my head. I don't actually have those numbers, but I'm pretty sure it was something like a 4 to 8 million, ish jump.
I would assume that's like probably all of them, all of the Game Passes combined.
Because I'm technically a Game Pass subscriber, but I'm one of the jerks that paid the $1 and bounced once I beat the Outer Worlds inside of a month, which was my goal. So I only paid the $1 to play it.
First taste is free, my friend.
Mm-hmm. But I haven't gone back. I canceled it right afterwards.
Oh, you'll be back.
I might be back.
But then you have the jerks like me who paid $1 to play Outer Wilds and was like, I really want to play Metro at some point, Metro Exodus, and the Master Chief Collection's coming out, and I could buy it on Steam, or I could just have Game Pass and just have it here. So, and I'm like, I didn't quite finish it, and I hear Gears 5 is pretty good. So that's the rabbit hole I've fallen down.
No, you're definitely the mark. I totally respect.
And then it's also the I know I'm not gonna have a next gen console for quite a while because I have a very nice gaming machine. I bought my PS4 not that long ago, and I think for a most part a lot of games will be released on both for a reasonable amount of time, and I just don't need a PS5 anytime soon.
I use my PS4 to watch Jeopardy and Columbo, so I think I'm probably in the same boat.
So, but to now have most, everything coming on PC and Xbox, and then everything that is, first party Xbox coming to Game Pass, like it just, me having Game Pass keeps me from feeling that urge to buy an Xbox, but it also keeps Microsoft happy because I'm giving them money still that I would have otherwise not given them. So rather than me getting basically nothing from Microsoft, they're getting $10 a month from me for however long I continue to subscribe.
So there's the opposite end of that spectrum where, like, if you actually want to buy a PS5 or a Xbox Series X, you can't. Like, I'm in the camp of like, I totally want one day one. I can't. Nope, I'm boned. I wasn't there in the first 15 minutes when they were selling it. So
it sounds like they are still regularly making available pre-orders, across the retailers. So, it is one of those, the initial wave is gone. That is a problem they're aware of and they are trying to remedy. I think the closer we get, the easier it will be to land a pre-order. But unfortunately, it's one of those where you definitely have to be on a retailer's website and smashing that refresh button or keeping up with like news of, okay, the next batch of pre-orders for day one shipping is going to be on, October 6th at 2 p.m. Get ready.
Now, I remember, I don't hold grudges. But I remember when there was talk of Sony implementing a lottery system for some of their pre-orders. I was like, I think that's a good idea. I believe someone else on this podcast was like, that's a stupid idea. I think that's dumb.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you think the other way is going to look like? Lo and behold, I have been thoroughly vindicated.
It's
cluster truck that was this process for both of these for Microsoft and Sony.
Here's why it was still a stupid idea. One, they
Didn't
haven't
expect to have
drawn
this
anything.
W.
Oh my god, they haven't drawn anything from the lottery, so you entered in all your information still for nothing so far. Because they don't have the stock to go ahead and draw for the lottery. They still haven't done it. You simped for, if you did that, congrats, you simped for capitalism and got nothing for it.
Okay, now wait, just a minute here. It's a proof of concept.
Has it worked?
Did the other way work? No.
Actually, I can't say that the lottery system has 100% failed because they haven't come out. It's not release day, it's not launch day. No one that isn't already deep in the gaming industry has a PS5 in their hands yet. So credit on you for that. But
thank you.
Counterwise, the way Sony accidentally started doing the pre-orders, they're like, yeah, we're gonna do it the 17th, and by that we mean right fucking now. Right.
It's like we finished our PS5 price reveal presentation.
Actually, Walmart kind of jumped the gun on that one.
Everyone followed suit.
And so it's like, well, Walmart went live, so everybody else is like, let's just punch it. So I will give Sony a pass on that one a little bit. They did intend for it not to be on that day, and then it just kind of
And then they're like, oops, go to Jeff Keighley's Twitter right now.
I hate how much power and voice Jeff Keighley all of a sudden got. You know what? Mad respect to him. He hustles. He hustles a lot.
Also,
so never mind. I don't hate Jeff Keighley.
While we're on the topic of the next gen hardware, we did get confirmation that all of us were wrong on our prediction for the expandable storage for the Xbox Series. That 1 terabyte expansion drive is going to cost you a cool $220.
That's so fucking
also,
stupid.
we got confirmation that at least on the pre-production models that are in people's hands, that around 200 gigabytes are reserved already on the hardware. So really, at least on the Series X, you only have usable about 800 gigabytes.
What's the 200 gigs doing?
It is operating system, and then some of it is because you can suspend 5 games at once. I think a lot of that is reserved for suspend state storage.
Why do you need to suspend 5 games at once?
Why don't you?
Also, 60 gigabytes of Kinect tutorials.
Oh my gosh, the Kinect. It's so dead. But no, that much space for UI? For console UI? That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
no, I don't believe that.
I don't, maybe that is
until you suspend 5 games, which is
maybe that is a pre-production, because a lot of the folks who have Xbox One X's on hand now are still debug machines, or not final hardware, so they're not retail hardware. Maybe it'll be different, but that is a lot of overhead on a terabyte hard drive, where you can't just buy you can buy a USB hard drive of some kind and use it as cold storage, but still you can't play your games from there. So you can only have 4 Call of Duties on your active hard drive at any one time.
You're only gonna have 1 Call of Duty if Warzone keeps updating the way it does on your Xbox Series X. No, but Josh, I wanted to point out now.
This single gun texture is 30 gigs.
I believe
Get to work, soldier.
Josh, I want to point out that you just made the mistake of the Xbox naming system. You said Xbox One X, not Series X.
God damn it.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Wee. That's hilarious.
Because it's a dumb name. They just should have
called it real
finally, Josh admits it.
I have been saying for years that they should just call it the Xbox.
That's worse.
No,
it's not.
Just call it the Xbox.
Because then you just say the Xbox.
Okay, what about the one that comes after that?
That's also the Xbox.
Yeah.
You just still call it the Xbox.
Or Or what
you
if
know
we
what we
called
call
it
the PlayStation 5? The
new
PlayStation.
Xbox?
Oh,
New Super Mario Xbox.
oh, I'm gonna be sick. That's like the
New Xbox 3D World.
Do you have one of those? Can I have one? I would like to see it. Show me the
New
Xbox 3D
New
World.
Xbox Brothers Wii.
Give it to me.
I hate this so much. If you're trying to say Nintendo has bad naming conventions, I'm right there with you. Don't worry.
The new 3DS.
I remember
That's
trying
got to
to
be the
find
worst one, right?
That's pretty bad.
The new 2DS XL has to be the worst.
Yeah. It's like, I think it's like the new is like because the Wii U, like that's dumb as shit.
That's
But
pretty
it's a
bad, yeah.
different thing. It's not just like, oh, the new 3DS. Like,
You do know that we're
It's-
eventually gonna get a new Switch, right? That's gonna happen.
yeah. Oh, God.
I hope it's called like Switch. Fuck, what would Switch Pro? Just
No,
call it Switch
no.
Pro.
Okay. Here, so when that, I do believe that when that updated Switch comes out in like a year or two, because it's gonna more than likely play the same games as a Switch, like calling it the Switch Pro or something like that, that's fine. But like at some point, you're gonna have like a new generation Switch, Super Switch.
I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that. That's fine. It's not Switch Series X or
Nintendo
The only
Switch
problem is,
64.
then, is the third Switch the Switch 64.
Nintendo Switch D4.
If they actually called it the Switch 64, I'm so in. I'm so into that pre-order line.
Is there a third Joy-Con that plugs into the bottom?
Yes. Yes. There's the port for it. Because when you hold it in handheld mode, there's
Yep, right in the
thing that's
USB-C
the
port.
dock or the. We have to delete this recording right now. No one can find out about this. We just cracked the code, guys. We will ransom Nintendo for $1 million.
I'm gonna call Mario and say I need a meeting with Miyamoto right now.
The Switch color. It's just a Switch, just with more colors.
But the screen isn't actually backlit anymore.
Don't joke about that.
Oh my god.
Hey, if they call it the Switch Advance, oh shit, son, I'm in.
If it means I get an Advance Wars sequel, they can do it.
Yes.
Days of Ruin was the last Advance Wars game. We need another Advance Wars. That was in 2008.
Ray, how do you feel about Advance Wars?
I love Advance Wars.
How do you feel about anime?
I mean,
how do you feel about
memes
anime
are...
Advance Wars?
And Advance Wars is already anime. What the hell are you talking about?
Let me tell you about a game series called Fire Emblem.
Oh my god.
God
damn it.
I walked right into that one.
Yeah, you did.
No. Fire Emblem is not anime Advance Wars. Get the fuck out of here. It's not. No.
So
you hate to see it, folks.
So any other
I have a news thing.
what news thing?
I just, this can just be a quick hit in our ongoing series of game companies can be dumb sometimes. And by dumb, I mean evil and systemically so. The boy, Jason Schreier, just killing the game right now. Always has been, always will be. Last year, the bosses of CD Projekt Red approached me for an interview. They wanted to announce that for Cyberpunk 2077, they would be avoiding mandatory crunch. This week, they sent out an email to staff announcing studio-wide mandatory crunch. I mean, I guess that's, to avoid something. Like, I can avoid driving my car at 60 miles per hour into the side of the freeway, but it can still happen. Yeah, it's just I just thought that was really interesting.
The way they announced that too, they're like, yeah, we just sent our release candidates over to the console manufacturers, but also we're gonna have our team like nonstop 6 days a week, 6 fucking days a week, crunching for bugs. It's like, wait a minute, you sent your release candidate though. So what did you send them?
Day 0 patch. Day 1 patch.
The-
Day 2 patch.
The day 1 patch is 8 gigs of just bug.
Yeah, it's and like again, like there was also the owner of this studio just became a billionaire this year, and they're like, oh, we're really sorry, we tried to not crunch, but now we have to. Oh no, how could this happen?
We tried our
This is
best
just
not
it's
to
just
crunch our employees.
I think there's I think I don't think this is a secret to anybody, but I don't think crunch in games is something that just like is a force of nature. It's not like gravity. You can it's something that is, it is allowed to happen and or encouraged because it's good for the bottom line. And it I think it I'm interested in checking out Cyberpunk, but I think it is just I just wanted to point that out just because
Yeah,
I think people need to stay aware and stay mad about this because
it's one of those things where
exploiting labor.
We for a long time were like, every time they push back, we're like, yes, push the game back, keep doing that. If that's what you need to do to get it done, do it. But I think now we're seeing the business reality of like them having put up so much marketing dollars, missing some of the launch windows, having the 20 series graphics cards that were, Cyberpunk 2077 branded, and the game still not being out. So, we're kind of seeing the problem of like at some point for some studios, they have to get the game out, and if they push it back enough and there's enough hype and backlash around it, they're gonna do whatever it takes. And that's a problem both with fans and with the companies themselves. So like we not only need to be aware and be outspoken about that behavior, but we also need to be better as gamers and fans of the game industry and the people who make our games and advocates for them to not build the hype in such a way that leads to these conditions. Like, I'm not saying that we are, at the end of the day, we are the problem, because like, yes,
it's a system.
The people with the money are still the big problem, but like we feed into that because we vote with our wallet, and sometimes we use that to say we would rather you kill these people and give us what we want rather than treat them well, pay them well, and give us a good product at the same time.
Like I think definitely, like especially as I think this is people in the games industry, this is just me shooting from the hip, but I think that there is probably just more and more people are talking about, collective action for something, like, just because this just seems to happen again and again. And it's, it's clear that this is not incidental. This is the purpose. It only happens because they're allowed to get away with it. And, there's at some point we're due for, I think, something, maybe some labor action on a game that, pushes a hotly anticipated title or expansion or whatever back because of something like this. And people need to be ready to be grown-ups about it and do the right thing and support the workers. So
I could probably guess what probably happened to where they decided like we need a heightened crunch. And Josh, you were probably hitting the nail on the head. The release date for this game has been pushed back twice, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
There's been, call this what it is, but there was a lot of marketing dollars already pushed towards specific release dates, specific timelines, specific what do you call that? End of quarter reviews, and they've missed 2 of them. And we are now in the 4th quarter, and they're like, we have to hit the 4th quarter. We've already because here's the thing about when you push back a game, and this is I'm not defending crunch, by the way. Like, literally my job in the game industry, I won't say where, but my job in the game industry is a project manager. So my job is managing people's time. But the more you keep pushing back, that's so many hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars you basically said we have to spend more of for daily salary, upkeep, server costs, what have you. Especially when you're like, we just pushed the game back 6 months. How much more money did you just say that you had to push back to add on to that? So if they pushed back twice, that how many millions upon millions of dollars did they just say we're going to spend more to make this game great? Now I don't. The full disclosure, I already have this game pre-ordered. They had a sale on Amazon where you get $10 off for pre-order it. So I went full capitalist piggy and took advantage of that. Judge me as you
I
will.
also went pay piggy and did that too.
I'm not the only one. I'm so glad. Josh just leaves in disgust. But what I'm trying to say is they probably like had their like the overhead managers of the project probably had their proverbial backs against the wall and said, "We
Yeah.
can't hit quarter 4. We can't miss Thanksgiving. We
You can't. I mean that. I think
you
this
can't miss
was
the
like
con- you
with the
can't miss
launch of the
console launches.
consoles.
You can't miss the launch of
For
brand
sure,
new
like-
graphics cards from both companies. You just can't miss those.
And they're like, here's what we could do. Here's what we have to do. This sucks. But you kind of have to say, like, are you managers? Are you billionaire CEO? Are you putting in the same work as we are? Because we're going to be out here supporting you. You need to be out here supporting us. That should be at the very least the bare minimum. Everyone joins in.
Yeah.
Links arms, what have you.
Well, speaking of pushing things back, I think it's time for Josh's Tech Minute.
Hit it.
So today, actually, of this recording, it was announced that the NVIDIA 3070 launch is going to be pushed back about 2 weeks. The 3080 and 3090 launches did not go very well. Ray and I talked about this on a quick hit a couple weeks ago. Those cards were both out of stock almost
the 3090
immediately.
launch?
What?
Did the 3090 launch?
Yes, this week.
Oh, I didn't even know.
Yeah. So the 3090 is out. Benchmarks are out. They definitely oversold that card a little bit. It's a weird card. But that being said, and there was also a problem that came up with the 3080 with crashing to desktop. There were some capacitor issues as well as BIOS issues that seem to be getting resolved now. But NVIDIA has announced that the 3070 launch has been pushed back 2 weeks to hopefully mitigate some of those risks. But I still have a feeling that card will just be out of stock in 5 minutes rather than 5 seconds. We shall see. But with that, AMD actually this last week or so has had information about both the Zen 3 and the Big Navi releases getting leaked. It looks like we have information. So the new 3rd gen Ryzen chips are actually going to be the 5000 series. So it sounds like they're going to kind of skip the 4000 series and just reserve that for enterprise and OEM parts. So things that go in like business class desktops and whatnot, like those are just going to be the 4000 series. The 5000 series, there, the top of the line looks like it is a 12 core 24 thread beast. It looks like it's also potentially taking the Frequency King. There are a lot of benchmarks that have already started to come out across some of the like Cinemark and some of the popular ones showing a I don't remember the model number, 5950, looking like it is going to crush some stuff. But then also in the 6000 series Big Navi GPUs, it looks like there are 3 potential launches: a 6900, nice, XT, a 6800 XT, and a 6700 XT. The 6900 XT looks like it's about to have 16 gigabytes of GDDR6 memory, boosting to about 2 gigahertz, with 5000 stream processors, which I think the 5700 XT has around 2.5 to 3000 stream processors. So given the number of, like, the way that math works in compute units and with the VRAM, it actually looks like this 6900 XT will be pulling punches with the 3080. Part of the reason why NVIDIA might have gotten a little aggressive with the pricing of that and wanted to push the performance, because it seems like these AMD cards might actually be pretty competitive in the marketplace, not just in the mid-tier, but at the high end as well. So it sounds like the information of those is coming out this month. So the CPUs get announced in like a week. The GPUs get announced at the end of the month, and it looks like the end of the month, early November, is when we will get the actual release of the CPUs, and then end of November, the release of the GPUs. And there was even some stuff on Twitter where it sounds like AMD is trying everything they can to not have a paper launch situation like NVIDIA, where they have their cards available and actually for purchase to the general consumers. But that being said, you know what does not have an availability problem?
Wait, before you get into the segue, I have one more piece of news that's just kind of funny. How do you guys feel about Stadia?
It's fine. It's not for me, but it works.
I mean, I prefer non-artificial sweeteners.
Stop.
So I don't hate it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, Amazon's launching a competing product.
I wish them luck. I don't know. So the new Chromecast that just came out, the Chromecast with Google TV, it doesn't support Stadia.
That rules, honestly. It's like, no, get your dinky little thing out of our other thing. That's hilarious.
That was the funny news I wanted to bring up. Like, I think they forgot. They did announce that, okay, we know that this is bad for you Stadia fans out there that love the Google environment. What we're going to do is we will add support at a later date. And they have announced that later date. Fall of 2021.
Well, you know, you don't have to wait for fall of 2021 for
what?
Unscripted Gaming. That's right. You can get Unscripted Gaming right now all over the internet. Unscriptedgaming.com. Get us there. You find all of the links. You can get us on Facebook at Unscripted Game Podcast, Twitter at Unscript_gaming. We're on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/unscripted-gaming. We are now on Spotify, so if you're a Spotify user, you can get Unscripted Gaming there. We're on Google. We are on, I have to find out if I need to switch over for the YouTube music switch. That's a problem for me, though. We are on Apple. We are on Stitcher. We are everywhere. Get us in your ears. Get us in your eyes. Keep up with Unscripted Gaming. Thank you for watching. My name is Josh.
My name is Ray.
My name is Mike.
Peace.
Stop. Oh, that's slightly over an hour. I might have pushed us over an hour with the Stadia news. But